Hello everyone, this is Sai Kumar. Our agenda for today's session is we will be knowing the structure of Java, and then we'll write our first application, then we'll compile it, finally we'll execute it. So now let's go with structure of Java. So when it comes to structure of Java, before going with this, let's understand like how the Java has been arranged, how this programming language has been arranged. So here the first thing that you have to remember that Java is an object oriented programming language. That means it deals with classes and something called as interfaces. So here this classes and interfaces, these two are binded or they are combined into one, a single unit, and this particular classes and interfaces were put in something called as package. So a package contains classes and interfaces. Now where can I find this particular package? You can find the packages in jar file. Jar stands for Java archive file. So your jar file is like a container. Java archive file. Okay. Now in this classes and interfaces we'll be having methods. So without any method, here method refers to a function. So without any method or without any function in a programming language, we cannot develop any application. So methods play a very important role in developing an application. So here this is the structure of Java where you'll have the Java archive files. In the Java archive files you'll have the packages. In the packages you'll have the classes and interfaces, and in the classes and interfaces you'll have the methods. And the next important thing is if I want to access any method, then I must create an object. To the class. So remember this, assume this as the thumb rule and remember it. So if you want to access any method, I mean to say if you want to invoke any method which is in the class, you must create an object and you have to call it with respect to the object. Okay, alright. Now let's write a simple Java program to understand like what are the things that we have in a simple Java program. So generally, as we have, as programming language provides us the predefined packages, predefined jars in which you'll have predefined packages, in which the very important package is java.lang. This is the basic package. Now if you want to use any class or any interface, then you must import that particular class with respect to the package. So I'll import java.lang.string. So for my first program I want two classes. One is string class, the other one is system class. So import java.lang.system class. Now I have imported these two classes. Now I can use the methods of these two classes in my program. So your Java program starts with a class name, let's say first program. Okay, first program. Now here you can see why they have, why I have written the F as capital and P as capital. So those are called as naming conventions, which we'll be seeing in the further classes. Alright, now this is very important. Now what we're going to discuss is very important now. So every programming language will have one main method. So that is the point where your execution starts. The similar way in Java also will have the main method, void main. But this main method, it takes one argument called as string array. So the main purpose of the string array is it will store the values which you give from command prompt. There are some requirements where you want to take the input from the user, and you want to make your program as dynamic program by taking different inputs from the user. So that information will be stored. What are the inputs given by the user? Those inputs will be stored in this string array. So you can call it a string args. Okay. And the very important thing, the very next important thing is, as Java is object oriented programming language, we can hide the data. Okay, we can hide the data, for security reason. So here this void main function, or we can call it as method. This method will be called by a program called as JVM. As I told you in the previous tutorials that JVM is responsible for executing your program. Your JVM calls this main method. But where is the main method? Main method is not in JVM, or JVM is not in the main method. JVM is completely outside the main method. Hence JVM, it cannot find this particular main function. So if you want this main method or main function to be visible for your JVM, then make this main method as public. When you make this main method as public, what happens is your JVM, it can easily find this main method and it can call this main method. Okay, and the very next important thing is, as I told you that the rule, if you want to invoke any method, then it must create an object to the class, then it has to invoke with respect to the object. Now here there is no possibility of creating an object for our class, because this is the main method. By calling the main method only we can execute some code, but our actual requirement is calling the main method itself. So if you write some code in the main method, that code will not be executed until and unless this main method is called. So our actual requirement is calling the main method itself. So I don't have the scope of creating an object now. So what I can do over here is, I can make my main method to be accessible in such a way that it can access, your JVM can access this particular main method by its class name, like first program.main. So in that fashion, so to what I can do here is, I can make this main method as class method. So to make the main method as class method, I can make this main method as static. So it becomes public static void main string args. Now if you want to print anything in Java, then you can use a statement called as system.out.println. Excuse me. Hello world. Hello world. This is Sai Kumar. Alright, now we are done with the application. So what I'm gonna do is, I'll just copy this code and go to Naive. So let us select Java application. I'll be pasting over here. So now we have written our first application. Let us save it. So you can save this file by any name, but the recommended way is you should make your file name as the class name. So let me make my file name as first program. Okay, so you can save it somewhere. So let me save it in desktop. I'll create a folder. So let's say sample. Okay, in sample folder I'll create it. Just copy this address. I'll tell you why we have to copy that. So I've saved it. Now from where I can run my application, you can run your application or you can compile your application by taking the help of command prompt. So go to command prompt. Now we are in command prompt. So change the directory to the directory where you have your file, where you have saved your file. I'm changing the directory to C directory, to the folder called as sample folder. Now I'm in sample folder. Now write java c file name.java, that is first program.java. Now your file is being compiled. So your file has been compiled. Once the compilation is done, what happens is one .class file will be created. So we have to load the .class file to execute your particular program. So to do so, what you can do is you can say java space first program. Java space first program. You can see hello world, this is Sai Kumar. If you want to know what actually your compiler is doing, so what you can do is you can say java c hyphen verbose space first program dot java. Okay, your verbose says that what actually your compiler is doing, so all messages will be shown over here. So you can see now. So the first thing your compiler does is it parses your application. After parsing it, then whatever the classes which are required, all the classes will be loaded by it. Then finally what it does is it will write the .class file. So it has taken 568 milliseconds in order to compile your file. So after compilation it gives you the .class file. So first program .class. So that's it for this session. Thank you so much, and you can subscribe to my channel. Have a great time.